Hello and welcome to Battlefront News. I have 4 pieces of news today. Firstly, Microsoft has dropped its Xbox One DRM policies. What could this mean for Battlefront? Secondly, Connect and game install requirements have been announced. Thirdly, EA has stated that the online pass is dead despite the DRM changes on Xbox. And fourthly, Frank Gibeau speaks on why DICE is the perfect studio for Star Wars Battlefront. Let's get straight into it. An article on VG247 states that Xbox One 24-hour check-in, used policies and more dropped. The changes to Microsoft DRM policies are in the article. The first change they've made: an internet connection will not be required to play offline Xbox One games. After a one-time system setup with a new Xbox One, you can play any disc-based game without ever connecting online again. There's no 24-hour connection requirement, and you can take your Xbox One anywhere you want and play your games just like on the Xbox 360. The second change they've made is that you can now trade in, lend, resell, gift and rent disc-based games just like you do today. There will be no limitations to using and sharing games. It will work just as it does today on Xbox 360. The third change: in addition to buying a disc from a retailer, you can also download games from Xbox Live on day of release. If you choose to download your games, you'll be able to play them offline just like you do today. Xbox One games will be playable on any Xbox One console. There will be no regional restrictions. And finally, the last piece of news that Microsoft announced is that the sharing of games will not be the same for downloaded titles. They state downloaded titles cannot be shared or resold. Also similar to today, playing disc-based games will require that the disc be in the tray. I'm sure we're all happy to hear this news from Microsoft. Now, to explain its effects on Battlefront, the first change: an internet connection will not be required to play offline Xbox One games. This means that if Star Wars Battlefront does have offline portions, such as campaign, instant action, without you actually accessing the multiplayer feature, you will be able to play it offline. What is not guaranteed, however, is if these features will also use cloud computing. If they do use cloud computing, then it will require access to the internet. The second change: trade in, lend, resell, gift and rent disc-based games, also means now that you will be able to trade in Star Wars Battlefront, lend it to a friend, resell it to a friend or a company such as CX, GameStop, or gift it to another friend. You may also be able to rent it from places like Gamefly. Third piece of news is that you'll be able to download games from Xbox Live on day of release, meaning that you'll be able to go on Xbox Live when Star Wars Battlefront is released and download it. There is no need to visit a retailer. They say that if you choose to download your games, you'll be able to play them offline, which is excellent news if instant action doesn't require the cloud, or if you can turn the cloud computing off. They say that Xbox One games will be playable on any Xbox One console, meaning that you can take your Star Wars Battlefront round to a friend's house, order pizza in and just have a LAN party. You could hook up 2 Xbox One consoles. Of course you'd need 2 discs, but the system remains the same. They also say that there will be no regional restrictions, meaning that you can take your Xbox One anywhere in the world and continue playing your game. They did state, however, that games purchased from the downloaded titles, such as Battlefront on release, cannot be shared or resold, meaning that once you buy it off of Xbox Live, there is no going back. You cannot exchange or sell it. And now on to our second piece of news. Another article on VG247 about Xbox One changes and confirmations states Xbox One Day 1 update, installs and Connect requirement confirmed. States that you'll still need to install your games, have a Connect plugged in and download a Day 1 update when you buy the console. This means that if you do buy Star Wars Battlefront on the Xbox One, you will need to install it. The same with PlayStation. You will also need to have a Connect plugged in, which also brings me to the question: will Star Wars Battlefront have Connect compatibility? Will you be able to shout orders to your bots, or will it be more of a motion capture system where you can point your hand somewhere and your friendly bots will go in that direction? That's just a small piece of news, guys. It is confirmed that you'll need to download a Day 1 update, you will need to install Star Wars Battlefront, and you will need to have Connect plugged in when using Star Wars Battlefront. Perhaps Star Wars Battlefront will have Connect compatibility to warrant this. Who knows? Only time will tell. Our third piece of news is about EA not resurrecting the online pass system following the Xbox One DRM policy change. Senior Director of Corporate Communications at EA, John Reesberg, told Polygon in response to Microsoft's policy reversal today, "There is no change to our decision to discontinue online pass, it is dead." That is good news, guys. The online pass is not coming back. You will not need to buy an online pass system to play the game used, meaning that you can go out and buy Star Wars Battlefront used and still play it the same as anyone else. He goes on to confirm that Star Wars Battlefront will not have the online pass by saying, "As we said a few weeks ago, none of our new EA titles will include online pass, and we are removing it from existing games as well. Nothing else on today's news, but did want to be clear that our online pass decision was based on player feedback and there's no change." This means that you will be able to buy Star Wars Battlefront used. There is no need to buy any form of online pass to play the game online. Finally, our last piece of news is an article on IGN from EA Label's president Frank Gibeau. He is explaining why DICE is the perfect fit for Star Wars Battlefront. He explained that the studio's experience with Battlefield gives them a unique set of skills perfectly attuned to taking on Star Wars. Frank Gibeau goes on to say, and I quote, "Battlefront is a vehicle experience, it's a character experience. DICE has proven in how they develop Battlefield as far as being able to do air, land, sea combat and all the way up to F-18's fighting." This quote here might mean that since the developers have been working on sea combat in Battlefield 4, maybe we'll see some sort of sea combat in Star Wars Battlefront. For example, on Camino you could have boats in the waves whilst they're trying to board onto the platforms to take the command posts. He also goes on to say they've been able to demonstrate through the Frostbite tech and through their design capabilities and talent that they can create these huge, epic set-piece wars. Does this mean that Star Wars Battlefront is going to be absolutely massive? I believe it does. He goes to say, that's the kind of dream of Battlefront. Hoth, the Battle of Hoth. You've got space, you've got the surface, you've got infantry, you've got AT-ATs. That's the table skates that they come in with. They know how to do that, they're really good at it. Guys, I think we might have just learned that there's going to be space-to-ground combat. He states, Hoth, the Battle of Hoth, you've got space, you've got the surface, you've got infantry, you've got AT-ATs. Does this mean that there will be a Hoth map where there will be a space battle and a surface battle happening at the same time in the same environment, which a player can switch between without a loading screen? I hope it does. They also state a confirmation there of AT-ATs. There will be infantry gameplay, space gameplay, and surface gameplay, meaning you will be fighting on planets. He also goes to say that DICE will be really good at it, so hopefully they stick true to that and use the skills they've got in Battlefield to make a very good game. However, Gibeau continues, but they're not just going to ape what we've seen in the past. They're going to bring their own sensibilities and design ideas. We want to innovate, we want to try new things. You guys had a blog on our site that said, hey, what would you like to see in Battlefront? There's a lot of stuff in there that we're planning on doing. There's a lot of new stuff that we're looking at too. From our perspective, it's capturing that epic Star Wars all-out huge scale. That's what we'll go after. So towards the end there is a confirmation that Star Wars Battlefront will be on a large scale. He also goes to say that they're not going to ape what they've seen in the past, meaning they're not going to make bigger what's been seen in the past. They also want to innovate and bring in their own design ideas. Does this mean they're going to bring in their own ideas and game changers? Hopefully it does. We know that they're going to innovate, and there has not been a game that I can remember to date that uses space-to-ground technology. That died with Free Radical. However, if the Battlefield devs have the know-how to do it, as Gibeau stated they know how to do that, hopefully we will see some form of space-to-ground game. Our last little piece of news is in the same article where Gibeau says, "We signed a long-term deal so that we could really invest. This isn't just a one-off." Does that mean there's going to be more than one Star Wars Battlefront? I very much hope so. We know that there's going to be 3 games so far, and if Star Wars Battlefront is a success, as people will buy it no matter what, it's been like 8 years in the making, I'm sure we will see another Star Wars Battlefront announced, maybe 2 years after this one is released. I'm afraid that's all the news for today, guys. I follow all Star Wars Battlefront news, so be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with the latest news and stories. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.